The plot thickens surrounding the assassination of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, with police finding a message written on the shell casings that might be connected to a book about how insurance companies deny claims. Also, there are many interesting events that happened after and leading up to the assassination that include threats the wife claimed that Brian Thompson received that the police now say that they have no knowledge of, a hacker who tracked a Citibike said to be the escape vehicle for the assassin, the fact that Brian Thompson was facing a DOJ probe for insider trading, and also a very curious connection to Nancy Pelosi, who made an absolutely incredible investment decision after a UnitedHealthcare data breach. To catch you up to speed, Brian Thompson, who was the CEO of the largest health insurance company in the United States, was calmly gunned down in broad daylight by a masked man with a handgun that appears to be equipped with a silencer. This all happened on a busy sidewalk in New York City, right outside of Hilton Midtown Hotel, where Brian was set to attend a conference for UnitedHealthcare investors. But the latest news we have about the assassination is that there was a message written on the shell casings that were found on the scene. And that message reads, deny, defend, depose, 3 words. But these 3 words are very similar to the name of a book called Delay, Deny, Defend, which is all about the process insurance companies use to deny claims.
By the masked assassin, those reported words eerily similar to the name of this book, Delay, Deny, Defend, which is about how insurance companies deny valid claims for profit. In fact, Thompson's wife tells NBC News, quote, there had been some threats. I don't know details. I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him.
But speaking of Thompson's wife, following the assassination, the CEO's wife, Paulette Thompson, told NBC News that her husband had been receiving threats that she said may have had something to do with lack of coverage. But here is the strange part. The police chief in Maple Grove, Minnesota, says that he has no knowledge of these threats. This is from CBS News right here. Eric Werner, the police chief in Maple Grove, Minnesota, the Minneapolis suburb where Thompson lives, said his department had not received reports of threats against Thompson. But the CEO's wife, Paulette Thompson, told NBC News on Wednesday that there, quote, had been some threats against her husband. And then she said, quote, basically, I don't know, a lack of coverage. I don't know details. I just know there were some people that had been threatening him. And yet another very curious situation related to this case are the initial reports from the police that the suspect took off on an electric bicycle called a Citibike. And following this report, a hacker who, for some reason, scrapes data from Citibike's API. This is data that is related to where these bikes are at all times in relation to the city itself. But he came forward demonstrating how he had located and tracked a bike most likely used by the suspect, according to the information provided by the NYPD.
Okay, we're good now.
Low-tech.
Wait, what just happened?
So there was, unfortunately, a very sad shooting in Manhattan where the UnitedHealthcare CEO was shot. Seemed like it was targeted. Very, very terrible. But then I was watching the news this morning, and the police chief at the news conference said that the assailant fled on a Citibike, on an e-bike, which is like crazy that a criminal would flee on a bike, like especially a Citibike. But I've been scraping Citibike data for the past few weeks. This is not it right here. And this is it right here where, I can see where every individual bike has been. So I can see, okay, like this, let's see, like right here, bike number like 2164382 entered a dock at 2:03 p.m. and then it exited the dock. Someone else took the bike at 2:13 p.m. At station number 1058, which is Columbus Ave and West 59th Street.
Yeah.
So using all this data, I can see, I checked all the possible rides that the assailant could have fled on, and there were like only these 8 rides within the time frame of the shooting. Only one of them was headed northbound through Central Park, so that was which is what the police said that the guy went through. So I'm like really, really confident that this one ride was where the guy ended up. So he ended up on the Upper East Side.
So it's very interesting. You have this guy that just so happened to be scraping data from Citibike's APIs. But that's not the strange part. This is even stranger. According to sources close to NBC journalists, this claim was rescinded by the police. The claim that the attacker fled on a Citibike, it was rescinded by the police shortly after this hacker went public. Now, there might not be anything to this. I'm just saying it's a little bit odd that after this started going viral on X and this hacker came forward demonstrating how he was tracking all these bikes, that all of a sudden there was information out there saying, oh, no, it was actually not a Citibike. But this was the actual photo released by the NYPD of the attacker fleeing on a bicycle. It's kind of hard to see, a little bit grainy, so you can't really tell what the bike is. Does look like it might kind of have white-walled tires. I don't really know. But we can compare it to the Citibike. Now, this is what a Citibike looks like. Looks like it's dark blue. I believe they do have some new ones that are white. But yeah, what do you guys think? I'm not making any allegations here. I don't want to insert a conspiracy theory where there isn't one. But, you know, if you take into account the fact that this is a very grainy photo, most likely taken from a security footage or something like that, it's plausible. It's plausible that it could. I'm just saying it's very odd that all of a sudden this claim was rescinded very quickly after this hacker released the fact that he might know where this Citibike went. And then another very curious thing that we can kind of look at, and the reason why you look at these kinds of things is because of how this assassination was carried out. Like I said before, it looked pretty professional. The guy was very calm. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing things out there. But Brian Thompson himself was under investigation along with other executives at the company for insider trading. We have this New York Post article right here. UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing DOJ probe for insider trading when he was killed in targeted NYC shooting. Brian Thompson was one of major senior executives at the company under investigation by the Department of Justice when he was gunned down outside of a Manhattan hotel on Wednesday. Thompson exercised stock options and sold shares worth $15.1 million on February the 16th, less than 2 weeks before news of the federal antitrust probe went public, according to a business report. And finally, we have Nancy Pelosi. And how is she involved in all this? Well, it's nothing really direct, but it is tangentially related. And also the fact that Nancy Pelosi has connections to a lot of very powerful people. But back in February, Nancy Pelosi, in an incredible display of foresight, bought over $1 million worth of call options on a cybersecurity company, Palo Alto, the same exact day that UnitedHealthcare had a data breach that cost them over $800 million. And guess who UnitedHealthcare used to fix their systems following the breach? Yep, you guessed it. McAfee antivirus. No, I'm just kidding. It was Palo Alto Cybersecurity Company. Wow! I want to find the fortune tellers who work to invest for Nancy Pelosi. But here is the headline from CBS News. UnitedHealthcare says Change Healthcare cyber attack costed $872 million. And here is the press release right here. What happened on February the 21st, 2024, Change Healthcare became aware of deployment of ransomware in its computer system. Once discovered, Change Healthcare quickly took steps to stop the activity, blah, 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 blah. And they actually ended up paying these hackers, it was like tens of millions of dollars to get their data back. But I just want to show you this. And if you can't see, let me see if I can zoom in just a tad. This is the trade that Nancy Pelosi made on Palo Alto Cybersecurity, which is called Palo Alto Networks Incorporated. So February the 21st of 2024, this is the exact same day that this data breach happened. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But even Jim Cramer was talking about it And this is what he had to say.
Sure enough, now Palo Alto's up big from its post-quarter lows. Why? Well, one reason might be because UnitedHealthcare's Optum business got hacked. I bet they could use Palo Alto's full security suite, which is what Nikesh Arora, the CEO, is offering.
So this is very interesting. This is 9 months ago. Jim Cramer talking about how Palo Alto stock is increasing because of UnitedHealthcare's data hack. And Nancy Pelosi, the same day this data hack happens, just so happens to buy over $1 million worth of call options. Come on, Nancy Pelosi. What is going on? We need to get Doge to go after these government people because this is just getting crazy. It's just getting way too blatant. I mean, I'm not making any allegations or anything right here. I'm just saying it's very coincidental that the same time this happens, Nancy Pelosi decides to buy this stock. Coincidence? Maybe, but I highly doubt it. But these are all the things that we know so far. Some things that just don't add up. Some strange things about this Citibike that apparently was never there because the police initially thought it was a Citibike, and now they're saying it's not. Brian Thompson's wife saying that there were threats, and the police are saying they don't know about these threats. Nancy Pelosi, this message that was written on these shell casings. This is what we know. Very strange indeed. Very murky details. But what do you guys think of all this? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.